everyone, welcome back to Studio 33 Art by Kay. If you haven't been here before, welcome to Studio 33 Art by Kay. Today I just want to do a very simple little piece using two ceramic tiles that are just 10 centimeters square, or that's 4 inches square. And I just want to show mainly the newbies how to do a double dip, just using some of the basic colours that I've got here today. I've got some of the Little Piggy pigment paints that I've mixed up, plus I'm using some of the Mont Marte Pouring Paints and an Amsterdam Copper. So a bit of a mixture of all of them. I will say I have mixed all of them with a little bit of Floetrol. If you'd like to see how I did mix those, or what I used to mix them up, just have a look in the description box, because I will put it there for you, so you can see exactly how I did mix these colours today. But basically what we're going to do is I've just taken this plain little ceramic tile. I've got another one, the same. I'm not going to lay down any sort of a base. I'm just going to literally drizzle these paints onto the tile. Then I'm taking the other tile, which has no paint on it either, putting it on top, pulling them apart, and you get the most beautiful patterns. Without further ado, I'll lay down my paints. I'll tell you what they are as we go. So I'm first of all going to lay down the Mont Marte Pouring Paint Shiraz. Now I have mixed this with a little Floetrol, as I say. Normally if pouring paint you don't have to mix it with Floetrol. I just find it gives a nice effect when you do. Whether or not it helps to create a few cells, probably does. So that's my favourite pink really, is Shiraz. I'm then going to lay down the Mont Marte Pouring Paint Hot Pink, to which I have also added a little Floetrol. Whoops, squeeze that a bit hard. Oh, it's not coming out very well. Note to self, make sure you've always cleaned the top of your bottle before you start squeezing it out. Otherwise that's what happens. So I'll just do a little bit more of that. That'll be interesting to see what we get when we do our little double dip. I can see there's something in there. Haven't used that particular paint for a little while, so had a little bit of a stringy bit in it. Next I'm going to lay down the TLP Echeveria, which I've mixed. I used the bloom recipe, which is the Taubmans and the JoSonja, but I did add a little bit of the Aussie Floetrol to it. I'm just going to put that over the top. It'll be interesting to see what happens with all that hot pink there that came out of the bottle too fast. Sometimes these little accidental things happening actually turn out to be great. And please excuse the noise in the background. It's my neighbour mowing their lawn. Whenever I seem to come out into the garage to do any art, someone mows their lawn or the kids start bouncing balls or whatever, so I do apologise for that. This is TLP Nightfall. It's a beautiful purple colour. Will go lovely with these pinks and the green. So I'm basically just trying to fill up all the little holes there by the time I've finished. So I'm pretty sure I will have. And now the last colour I'm putting on is, well, it's not the last, I've got the Amsterdam Copper still to go. So this is TLP Taffy, absolutely gorgeous blue. So these paints would be what I would call a medium consistency. They're not extremely thick, they're not extremely thin, and I find that works best for doing a double dip like this. So a dip is if you've put the paint on, say, the plastic, and then you're just dipping your tile or whatever it is into that. A double dip is when you put the two tiles together, and a reverse dip would be if I just had the paint on the tile and then I used a serviette or a paper napkin and then lifted the paint up from there. So that's sort of the basic difference between those three things. So now I've got the Amsterdam Copper I'm going to lay down, which was also mixed with Australian Floetrol. Just a bit of copper. Now I've just about lost all my Shiraz, which is my favourite, so I'm going to bring that back a bit just by putting a little bit more paint on there. Make sure I've covered my edges pretty well. Now the edge on the one that I dip on top, it won't have anything on it, so what I do at the end is I'll just dip it into the leftover paint, or else I'll just gently tap with my finger. In fact, I could put a bit of paint on there now from what's running over the sides, just so they've got something on there. It's a good idea, Kay. Every now and then I come up with an idea that surprises myself. Okay, so I've got paint on all those edges pretty much before I dip. Now I'm just going to burst any bubbles. And I've got a fair bit of paint on there, so I'm just going to put this tile on top of that. Then I'm going to flip it over to make sure that enough transfers from this tile onto this tile. So I'm going to get very messy here. So I'm just flipping them over. Let it sort of, the paint transfer. So the one on top now is the one that I put the paint onto. Pull them apart. And there we have it. Okay. Well, I've certainly got lots of that light pink there, which was called the hot pink. And whilst it's pretty, I'm not absolutely loving it. I've lost my pigments. They've disappeared, even though I put them on last. Those other colours have really taken over. It's interesting, sometimes, you know, you'll do that and you'll go, wow, and love what you get. And other times you go, okay. And that was one of those moments. So I think I'd like to put some more of the little piggies on there now, just to try and get them to show up more. And I'll dip it again. So first of all, you don't get what you want, you can just keep trying. And if it doesn't work out at all, just scrape. Really can't see too much of the copper in there at all, actually. Might just put a little bit of my pouring paint gold in there. I know that always goes good in a double dip. Right, so picking this one up. I think that was the one that had the most paint on it before. So I'll just dip it in, flip it over. Lift. Ah, that's better. Much better. Now they're really pretty. Okay, so I'll just go and clean my hands and I'll be right back. Hey, so as you can see, they're looking really pretty. Easy to do. They look fantastic once you put your resin on. If you put a little bit of, say, dragonfly glaze into the resin or a little bit of glitter, and they will just be absolutely gorgeous. I do like this one the best. I'm not sure now which one was the one originally on the bottom and which one was on the top. But anyway, I'll hit it with the heat embossing tool just to burst any bubbles. And I do think that when I put the hot pink in it, let all that pink come out of the bottle, that caused part of my challenge here today. So I just want to, you can leave it like that, which they look lovely, or I can just do a little bit of a wrecking line through as well, which I'd like to do here today, just to take it that one step further, just because I can't help myself. So just a little bit of a wrecking line. Just do a couple. Don't want to do too much because the pattern's lovely as itself without me wrecking it. Just the double dip creates that lovely pattern. Just put a few little swirly bits. Okay, this one's a bit more mished up, so I'll just do a couple of little swirls through there. Just adds a little bit more interest. And it's literally just a meat skewer, and I'm just using the pointy end of it and just drawing the little lines through. Okay, I like that. All right, so the last thing you need to do is make sure that all your edges are covered. Just use your finger when you put it up onto a little a cup. I just have these little plastic, I just use a little plastic stand that I bought in the party section of Kmart. And I use those to stand my tiles on, or any of my artworks actually. Once you get it up on there, just make sure that you just use your finger just to pop the edges where it's gone a little bit thin, and also make sure you wipe all the drips off from underneath. So I hope you enjoyed that quick one today, guys. It was just to show you, you can get something really beautiful just doing a simple technique like that. And yeah, they will look gorgeous once they're resin. So I'll bring you down for a close-up. So here's the close-up of these pretty little pieces that were just a double dip, used with the drizzled on paints, and then I just did a couple of little wrecking lines through there, so you can see the Mont Marte pinks have come up lovely, and we've got this little piggies in there. The Echeveria or Echeveria has really come through beautifully there, and once that dries, oh, I like that piece just there. Very pretty. The Mont Marte Pouring Paint Gold actually is really good with these. I find that does create really lovely bit of interest in there, and I wasn't originally going to put it in there, but I'm glad I did in the end. And this was the other one. I'm loving my little wrecking line just here. It's really pretty. And over here, the Activator is just lovely there, isn't it? Okay, so that was just a mix of different paints, and very simple but beautiful tiles to make lovely coasters. I'm starting to make some coasters now for Christmas presents, so that's something to start thinking about. I think it's only about 18 or 19 weeks away, dare I say it. So yeah, that's what I'm starting to do now. Okay, so I'll see you back here in Studio 33 in the not too distant future. Thank you so much for subscribing if you have already. And if you haven't, if you would, I'd much appreciate it. Thanks so much. See you back here soon. Stay safe. Bye-bye.